Okay, what's up, everybody out there, and welcome to my AEW Revolution review. Going in solo today for this, not doing a joint one. Given that this pay-per-view landed on a Sunday and that Saturday, then again, AEW doesn't know if they want their pay-per-views on Saturday or Sunday, so I didn't even know what day this pay-per-view was going to be. I actually thought it was going to be on Saturday, but no. And given that I'm going in solo, if we had tried to do this tomorrow, nobody wouldn't really have time, because, hey, people got to work, okay? But, let's talk about this marathon of a show, because once I said before, hey, AEW is always a very super long pay-per-view that goes almost 5-6 hours as it is already, even if you count the pre-show matches too, okay? But yes, Los Angeles, California, at the Staples Center. Obviously one of the bigger crowds we've seen in AEW for a long time. Well, given this was a pay-per-view anyways, but we've seen recent TVs that the crowds have really gotten smalls nowadays. But let's go through this show. I'm going to kind of breeze by the whole pre-show because, listen, there's not really much to talk about here. Then again, I kind of forgot the pre-show was on myself, so let's just kind of breeze through fast because I probably seen clips of it and didn't really care. I know they had, Hologram and Commander versus Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. Hologram and Commander won, so, hey, if you watched it, you watched it. The Undisputed Kingdom, or at this point, it's the Undisputed Era, which kind of crazy to see them. It's crazy to see Adam Cole on a pre-show. Let me say that right off the bat. So all three of these guys on the pre-show, and they're tagging up with the TNT champion, Daniel Garcia, which, wow, that's kind of crazy too. The TNT champion is on a pre-show match. Take that a second and let that sink in. Adam Cole and the TNT champion are on the pre-show. And they go against Shane Taylor Promotions, which basically is Shane Taylor, Carly Bravo, Sean Dean, and Lee Moriarty. I don't have much to say about this. I guess the story here is that, Cole and Garcia are still kind of have friction with each other trying to go for the TNT title. I guess they had a match on a Collision not that long ago, a couple weeks ago. I didn't see it, but obviously, Garcia retained, so I don't have much to say about this. Because basically, Garcia ended up winning with the submission onto, I think it was Lee Moriarty, and then the rest of the Undisputed Era just hit finishers on everybody, or super kicks to knock him out of the ring. So they end up going over, but man, it's kind of crazy saying, Adam Cole is on the pre-show. That is insane. Next, I guess the Ring of Honor title was supposed to take place. Gravity was supposed to go against Chris Jericho. Once again, why is Chris Jericho on the pre-show too? I know it's the Ring of Honor title, which, let's be honest, nobody doesn't really care about any of these Ring of Honor belts, but why is he on the pre-show? I didn't even know this was going to be a match. And Gravity, I guess he's the older brother of Bandito, and he goes out there and hugs his mom and his sister, and this match never even started. Chris Jericho immediately comes out with the learning tree. Hi guys, hi everybody, hi Shaggy, hi Kyle, hi Gerard, hi Isaiah, hi everybody out there, hi guys, the learning tree. But yeah, they take a baseball bat and they beat the living hell out of Gravity with it. And then, Bandito tried to come help, but he got beat up too. And then they ripped off Gravity's mask, and, they're still beating him up, and Jericho's just beating up, Bandito then, and they just hitting finishers on him and stuff. And I guess, his mom and sister came in to kind of cover Gravity's face since the mask was taken off. So, obviously, I guess that feud continues. Like I said, I didn't even know what was really happening there, so it just happened. Next, which apparently Tony Khan just loves bringing these guys back all the time. Big Boom AJ, and he brought, Big Justice and the Rizzler out there, the Costco guys, as they teamed with Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe to go against Johnny TV, which he goes by so many names I don't even know by this point, with Taya and the male Maximum models and all that. It was a six-man tag. Listen, I don't care much about this Costco guy stuff, and I'm surprised they even keep bringing these guys back, but apparently they get a lot of views, and the crowd really seems to be invested with Big Boom AJ. They do the boom stuff and everything, so the crowd is behind them. I don't care how much food they go in and eat with Costco. I don't, okay? But they are over with the crowd. And I know Taya got involved in the match, and Harley Cameron ended up coming out, fighting her out there. This whole match, and like I said, AJ, even his son, what was it, the Big Justice dude comes in, and he gets a power bomb on the Mansoor, and then Mace, he looked like he's about to do something to the Big Justice dude, but AJ got him with a kicked in. and basically they did like a shield bomb. They did a shield bomb onto Mansoor, or Mace, I should be saying, and got the win. So the Costco guys and Cassidy and Briscoe won. And then Cage and Archer come out. They come to the ring apron then. And then next, Powerhouse Hobbs comes out. And then they back off. Then they and then what was like? Who are these people from this other TV show called The Righteous Gemstones? What were their names again? Adam Devine and Tony Cavallero, and they end up all just doing like a double choke slam on the Mansoor. So basically, it was like a lot of promotion. Also, they were really promoting the Queen of the Ring movie throughout the entire night. I'm gonna get to that later on because I'm gonna have something to say about it when we get to this segment. But there was a lot of promotion for that throughout the night. Also, given that there are a lot of people from AEW that are in this movie. But listen, like I said, the pre-show, you're not missing much. I saw a little of it, but I don't got much to say than what I just already explained, but that it is what it is on that. Now let's get to the main show of this whole card. We did kick it off with MJF versus Hangman Page. MJF did kind of come out to Hangman's old music at one point to mess with him. I thought it was kind of funny. I actually liked this match. This was a pretty good match. It was a good opener to kick off the show. Definitely enjoyable. One thing I will say about this match, I know this was kind of a bit of a brutal spot here, but in a way, when you really look at it like this, and I think I may have said this before when it comes to tombstones, because, like I said, I know a lot of guys just hitting finishers out there. I know Hangman ended up like what? He hit the buckshot. I know he hit the dead eye, but it was still like a near fall and everything. Until they went like to the outside of the ring and stuff. And Page, he's still trying to hit the damn buckshot by MJF. I know he countered at one point because he countered it and went for the salt to the earth armbar because I know Hangman ended up crashing into like the steel steps of the outside. So like he's just trying to put any variation to take out his arm in. I know they were doing that. And I know when they went to the barricade to the outside because Hangman did like a big moonsault off the barricade on the MJF, but MJF caught him and then he did a tombstone onto the chair. And the chair was still standing. And I'm thinking to myself, that did look cool, but it does kind of remind me a few months ago back in Full Gear when I talk about, and I spoke about this before when it comes to power drivers when I said with WWE and AEW, about with AEW, you do a power driver on somebody like, Ospreay getting hit with a power driver onto steel steps and then going out almost 10, 20 minutes in the match. That's almost what kind of happened here because MJF, like, he hit the tombstone onto Hangman, but the match is still continuing. Now, some would look at this as an injury angle right here, because, yeah, you tombstone somebody's head on top of a steel chair. That would be instant death, but, this is AEW, so it's not. But, like I said, they did the tombstone thing right there, and then MJF had got, Page in the ring. He started beating him up and kind of grabbing him, saying, like, why not me? Why don't they like me? And, he's trying to set up for the Heat Seeker power driver and everything. But Page ended up kind of breaking out of it. He hit the dead eye, and then he hit the Angel's Wings on him, Christopher Daniels' finisher, and then he hit one more buckshot lariat for the clean win. So it was a good opener. I say that went about almost 20 minutes. So the match, it was a really good match out there. Hangman is over with the crowd, obviously, with the cowboy shit stuff. As much as I kind of question here and there about this feud and how some of it doesn't make sense in some ways the way it's gone, and I'm not getting the whole production errors like when it comes to blading on TV, but I thought this was a really good match though at the same time. So, good opener to kick off the show. But now, let's move on to the next match though after this, because next we did have the TBS title on the line. Mercedes Moné versus Momo Watanabe. I will say this about the match. Now, the match itself actually was pretty good. I think everybody knew here that it wasn't going to be a title change, but, my real question about this match, though, is this, because I was actually surprised at it almost went 20 minutes as it is anyways, but what was really the story to this match when you really think about it? Because I don't even know what the story was about this match. I felt like, this is how I looked at it. I do feel like there's nobody else built up in AEW right now to go for the TBS title, so now it looks like we just had to pull somebody from Japan, Stardom, just to face for the title tonight, because it's not like we saw any type of really story interaction on Dynamite or anything other than that backstage segment with the baseball bat and Mercedes comedically running away from it and whatnot. Because here's the thing, you want to kind of look it up. You see, Momo Watanabe won a fatal four-way back at Wrestle Dynasty. If anybody watched that show back on New Japan and everything, and I guess she got to pick who she wanted to face for whatever type of championship, and she wanted to face Mercedes Moné. But that's kind of what the story is. But it's not like we've really seen anything leading up to this match. We've only seen like maybe one segment. Now, if you watch Collision or maybe some other clips, then hey, I guess you already know what's going on. But I really wonder, like, what is the point of this? What is the story to this? I think I said it weeks ago, like, why is this match even happening? And it's like you don't have anybody else on the roster to face for the TBS title, so we just got to find somebody random from Stardom just because that's kind of really what it looked like here. And the match wasn't even really that bad. I will say, like, the finish, though, at least it wasn't that horrible moneymaker finisher. That was the finish. It just went to the moneymaker to, like, the bank statement. So that at least made a little bit more sense. So, like I said, the match wasn't bad. It's just, what was the point of going into this? What was really the story about this? I think I said this maybe a few weeks ago on Dynamite, because it looks like almost every week on Dynamite now, I kind of tend to say, this is the main event. This is, like, seriously, this is the main event. Because I think I said this maybe about 3 weeks ago, somebody that, what did I say? That it made no sense to put the TBS title in the main event of Dynamite with Mercedes and I think it was Yuka. Yeah, I did say that. It didn't make any sense because what? She won a fatal four-way on Collision, and there was no build-up, no video packages, nothing to hype up the night, but we're going to throw it in the main event on Dynamite, and then you wonder why the ratings are really low when you put stuff like that in the main event. Yeah, you could question, I believe, what was at that time. Yes, Jeff Jarrett should never been going for the World Championship and everything, even, get a title shot against Claudio, but at the same time, it is for the world title, and it's a title shot. And last time I checked, the World Heavyweight title was bigger than the TBS title, so really think about that for a second. So that didn't make sense when it was that a few weeks ago, too. So I had to really sit there and wonder, like, what was really the point of this match? Because I don't even really know the story of all this. Like, it was a match, I'll say that. It wasn't a bad match, but what was really the point of this? The only thing I can really say from, I guess, a story perspective is that, they had Billy Starks watching up from, like, the rafters or something right up in, like, the luxury box stand, which some people are already kind of now saying that Athena may be coming Dynamite finally, because the last thing I can really remember Athena doing as I watch, because listen, I don't watch Ring of Honor, I don't know what goes on Ring of Honor at this point. I know she's been champion for like damn near 2 years, or probably over 2 years at this point, and the last time I think I saw her do anything in regards to Ring of Honor, I think I watched the last pay-per-view where she did face Billy Starks for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. I didn't know if they were still a team at this point, but I guess apparently they are. And maybe this is going to lead to it. So if it does that, then, hopefully so, Athena can finally get on Dynamite, because it's not like she's on this show and has been stuck on Ring of Honor Purgatory for the longest time. So that's the only thing I could say that I guess that may be leading to a story. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But like I said before, who really thought Mercedes was going to lose here? Like, literally. And listen, I can go into the joke about creative control, which, come on, we already know what that is when it comes to her. And, I can make the joke, hey, it doesn't work for me, brother. No, let me try it again. It doesn't work for me, sister. So you already know how that goes. But, like I said, it was a match. It was good, but I didn't understand what the story really was going into this. So, like I said, the match was the match. And then, she retained a TBS title. So we knew it wasn't going to change then after that. Next was Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet to become the number one contender for the AEW World title. Ricochet, of course, obviously came out with the NBC robe and all that. I guess, the robe that Prince Nana and Swerve had. And let me say this in the entrance of these matches. First off, let me talk about Swerve's entrance. So they had this guy come out and do a whole drum solo on stage. And I guess he's trying to play the drums to Swerve's, like, music. But this dude was so offbeat, it just looked like it was just a whole bunch of noise happening. It's not like you had Travis Barker out there. At least he probably would have been in sync with the song, and it probably would have sounded cool. I don't know who this guy was or what band he was from, but it's almost like they just got some dude to just go up on stage and just hit a whole bunch of drum beats and freestyle it over the Swerve beat, and it did not even sound remotely close. It was so offbeat that I was just wondering, like, why do they even have this guy playing it? It doesn't even sound good. Like, it really doesn't sound good. So why did they even have this guy up there? I don't understand. And obviously, some will say this is probably one of the best matches out of the night, which I actually kind of thought myself was the best match out of the night, and we'll kind of get into it later on too. So which I thought was really great, but I definitely did enjoy this match, and I like look at the story though. This whole thing with Swerve and Ricochet. Obviously, Ricochet's already got one win. Like I said, I've mostly enjoyed the feud. Ricochet is always going to suck at promos. Like I said, I get what he's saying out there, but the delivery is always going to sound corny and just god awful all the time. But this match itself, though, obviously the crowd went nuts for this. Hell, even had people from Saturday Night Live out there. I think what was it, Dr. Ken and Leslie Jones. I know they were out there like watching watching the match and stuff, but obviously you're going to see a lot of crazy spots out there. I know Nana got knocked down to the ground at one point, which he ended up kind of just leaving with Swerve, was wondering where he was going after that. Ricochet just yelling at, people from Saturday Night Live and everything, just yelling at them, which I thought was pretty funny. Swerve and power bombing him, and then hit like a power slam, in the ring on the mat, which was pretty cool. Ricochet hitting the Poison Rana, which was pretty brutal, I gotta say, too. Which, by the way, like a whole bunch of pink stuff in the ring and on Ricochet's gear and stuff. I think that was some Swerve's hair. You kind of look at his hair, it was like a whole bunch of purple pink stuff. I kept wondering where I was coming from. At one point, Swerve hit the Gringo Killer onto the announce table on the Ricochet to the outside, which was pretty brutal. I know they went back to the inside of the ring. Swerve was gonna go for the Swerve Stomp. Got a near fall, but then Ricochet, he came back and did a whole 630 then, which was crazy, and shocked that he didn't get the win right there. Prince Nana came back and took the robe then, and, was distracting Ricochet for a second. Swerve tried to roll him up. It didn't work. Nana had the robe on, but Ricochet hit a dive to the outside. Swerve tried to dive too, but he ended up, damn near taking almost like a Death Valley driver to the ground, and Ricochet caught him and hit him to the ground, which he kind of caught him on time, I thought. But, they got in the ring, he's still wearing the robe and stuff. Nana ended up getting the robe back again, because Swerve started to go for Ricochet right after that, and almost kind of crashing the Nana then. And Swerve just ended up hitting, damn near 2 house calls out there, hit the big pressure, and won the match, become the new #1 contender. So the crowd went nuts for this match. I gotta say, since like I said, it's probably one of the best matches of the night. Obviously, you're gonna get a lot of near falls where everybody hits each other with the kitchen sink damn near and just kicks out of everything. And you're gonna get a lot of that throughout the night. Okay, you really are. But like I said, the crowd went nuts for this, and Swerve won from here. So I figured he was gonna get the win back anyways after Ricochet beat him on Dynamite not that long ago. But this was a great match. Definitely enjoyable, and I guess it finishes off the story from here, or it could continue, but we'll see what happens. But obviously, Swerve will move on to the world title now. Right after that, and listen, this is where things kind of tend to die down a little bit, because I think I said this to my friend Shaggy, that the first 3 matches were damn near 20 minutes, but now it looks like they kind of start cutting some time. And listen, I feel like this match was made at the last second. Kazuchika Okada versus Brody King for the AEW Continental Championship. Honestly, I didn't know this match was going to be on the pay-per-view until this week. I really didn't know, and I don't really have a lot to say about it. It wasn't a bad match or anything. I don't got much to say. I don't think... Listen, nobody believed Brody King was going to win here. They didn't, okay? And he had some big moves on Okada out there. Crashing into the barricade and all that stuff, hitting the sentons and everything. And you can see Okada was really turning red out there, I guess, on the chops. And you can kind of see it on his arm, too. So, he had a lot of red marks on him. I know Brody King tried to go for the cannonball. He ended up doing that. He went for another one, but Okada got him with a drop kicked in. And basically hit him with a Rainmaker after that and won the match. So, I could say this match didn't overstay its welcome. The match was the match. That's kind of it. Okada won. The crowd, they reacted to the most part of this match, but nobody really believed Brody King was ever going to win this. Honestly, this match could have been on Dynamite. Or even Collision when you really think about it, than being on pay-per-view. So, come on, you know how these AEW pay-per-views just be going super long, but it's hey, it's a title match, so I guess we got to put it on pay-per-view in general, but... Yeah, Okada won. It's not much to say about this. It's just Okada versus anybody right now for the TNT. Not why I kept saying TNT, but Continental Breakfast, Continental Champion. He's already now gone through the Hounds of Hell. So who his next opponent will be, I don't know. And then right after that, you got another match, which I can't say I cared much about either. the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin versus the Outrunners. Listen, man, the only thing I got to say about this match is we hurt people. We hurt people. And I know the Outrunners are over, but come on, the crowd was really with the Hurt Syndicate out here. This match, like, it was what it was. And it went, like, what, maybe 8 minutes, I can say. Basically, the Hurt Syndicate really dominated a lot of this. And, yeah, I know they had, like, the Outrunners kind of, hulk up and everything. And, trying to do stuff from like 80s movies like the Alien movie, just so you son of a bitch with the handshake and all that. But Lashley, he ended up hitting a spear on like both the Outrunner guys, like singly, like on Magnum and all that, and Shelton hit like the big knee on him, and Lashley hit another spear and won the match. So it's not much to say. That kind of tells you the state of the tag team division right now. I thought these guys would have been facing Archer and Cage, but I guess they're going to save that for another time and give the Outrunners a bit of shine here. But come on, who really believed the Outrunners were really going to win this match? So it's not much to say about this tag match right here. It's like, all I can say is we hurt people. We hurt people. We hurt people. Her Syndicate win, and that's really it. That's all you can really say about this. Now, next was the Hollywood ending match. Toni Storm versus Mariah May. Now, you're either going to like this match, you're going to hate this match, or you're going to think this was an Outlaw Mutt show right here. Jim Ross was actually on commentary for this match too, okay? So, this is obviously the big ending to this feud between Toni Storm and Mariah May. And I didn't know what a Hollywood ending match was or what it was going to be until I really figured out now it was a Falls Count Anywhere match. Now, either you're going to like this or not, because this match gets really gory right here. So, as soon as both women make their entrance and everything, not Toni Storm, but Mariah May was first. She had like a flower bouquet with him, and Toni Storm immediately came out. Both women brawled on the stage then. And immediately Mariah May gave Toni Storm a power drive, which, by the way, you're going to see a lot of power drivers in this match too. And she ended up pulling out a stun gun then. And Luther stopped her, and then like she spitted Luther and then kicked him in the nuts and like kicked him over a table with a whole bunch of stuff on it, so you don't even see him throughout the match anymore. Toni Storm ended up getting up, and she did like a sky high move off the stage onto like a table to the outside, so they go out there then, and then they both end up getting up after a 2 count. They go over the barricade. I think Toni Storm had like a DT, or like it was like a Storm Zero onto the steel steps. So you're gonna see a lot of Storm Zeros here, and even like Toni Storm ended up bleeding then because Mariah May ended up hitting a pile driver too. So she's bleeding in, and then next like they pull out these champagne buckets with glass in them, like a broken champagne bottle glass, which they tape their fists up. So I guess they dip it in like I guess they dip their hands in the glass so they could like tape it. Have the glass stick to the tape and everything, and they start punching each other with glass on themselves. And I guess, Toni Storm got the upper hand, and then she starts pouring glass all over the ring then. And you can see Mariah May bleeding from the forehead, which I guess she did a blade job on the outside. And then, like I said, she, like, take the glass and, like, sticks it to her neck. Okay? She sticks it to her neck, which is already brutal enough, which, well, God, you might as well just slash their neck and kill them right there. But even, like, Mariah May, like, Toni Storm tried to come back with another move, and Mariah May, like, took the broken bottle, and I guess she hit Toni Storm in, like, the pussy or the leg or something, which I don't know where it was. And everybody, they kept saying it was, like, a horror ending out here to this Hollywood ending match. And, Mariah May ended up slamming Toni Storm, like, to the glass then, I remember, which I don't think the glass was real out here. It probably was just some sugar glass. But then again, why are we using glass? Because I know the joke is going to be, oh, hey, look, real glass. I wonder who's that reference to. But, when Mariah May took out Toni Storm with the glass then, I think she, like, left the ring and crawled to the stage after that. And Toni Storm ended up chasing her then. And with the shoe that was used months ago. And just used the shoe to start beating Mariah May's head with, and even hitting her with the AEW women's title then after that. And, like, after she started attacking with the shoe, like, Mariah May ended up, she hit the Mayday on the stage, which, once again, was another 2 count after that. Fans started chanting, this is awesome. And then Toni Storm got the shoe again, started battering Mariah May with it. And then they got on top of a table she hit another Storm Zero, like it was like a Hollywood ending table, and won the match as both women just bled all over the place. By the way, it only went like 12 minutes. I'm surprised it didn't go longer, but this was, I guess, the goriest conclusion you could find out of this whole match. Like, as brutal as it was, I guess this was the way to end it. You're going to either like this match or not like this match, but this obviously is going to end this feud. Like I said, this is one of the matches with at least the most story, which you had to end on I guess a spectacular high note on, and this was probably the way to do it, because like I said, I didn't know what a Hollywood ending match was, but it was basically just a bloody falls count anywhere match. So hey, you're gonna like this match or you're not gonna like this match, but the crowd seemed to really enjoyed it out here. So where do both of them go next? I don't know, but Toni Storm retains the AEW Women's title, so we'll see what happens next. So like I say, you're going to like it or not like it. Right after that, we had Konosuke Takeshita versus Kenny Omega for the AEW International title. Once again, I probably would say this is probably the next best match out of the night. It's between this and the Swerve and Ricochet. I kind of wonder who was going to be the best out of this. And I know they had Don Callis on commentary for this match. I'm not going to go through everything because this match went damn near 30 minutes anyways. But, obviously, can Kenny Omega still do it, especially after the whole diverticulitis thing, which Takeshita was trying to focus on his stomach because they had a table on the outside then. And even, Takeshita didn't move, crashing Kenny into the to the edge part of the table, which Kenny ended up, shoving the table over because, the fans didn't like that then. But, excuse me. This, like I said, this was just insane match out here. I know they ended up going to the announce table then after that. Don Callis kept trying to get involved throughout multiple times in the match, trying to stop Omega, especially with that table right there. Even after dipping it over, Omega even came back. He hit the V trigger and all that stuff onto Takeshita. But Takeshita ended up getting a Blue Thunder Bomb on him then. And then we're for that big running knee on him too, which, was still a 2 count after that. Omega, a big springboard powerbomb, which was pretty crazy, going from the outside to the inside of the ring, which was really good. And, Omega's still trying to pay attention to his stomach right now because, just the whole abdominal pain, which Takeshi's been doing work on. He had a tombstone after that, and then, kind of picked him back up and hit a leaping pile driver in, which, still a 2 count because he got him with a knee strike after. So still was a 2 then. Omega still coming back. Fans chanting Kenny then. The crowd was going nuts. Takeshi tried to go for his finisher, but Omega got out of it. Hit the big ripcord knee and then his own power driver in for a near fall. Fans chanting fight forever. Omega just hitting multiple kicks on Takeshi then. Just knee strikes and they just kept going back and forth with elbows then. Omega then hit the poison run on him, which, Callis had to get out of the, just take his headset off. Then someone trying to stand up at the ringside, and Kenny was able to get the V trigger on him then, and he even tried to grab Callis, but Takeshita stopped him. Basically, this match, they ended up because they kept rolling up for a 2 count then, but Omega ended up rolling them again and got the win from there for a 3 count. So basically, Omega won, but it wasn't just a traditional finish right here. He ended up rolling them up. So obviously, like I said, the story was, can Kenny Omega bring back out the old Kenny Omega again, because he hasn't felt like he's been himself, especially after the whole diverticulitis stuff. So he's trying to prove, I guess, himself right here. But he did beat Takeshita by rolling him up. Takeshita basically was disappointed with Callis as they walked to the back then. I know the music has stopped for 1 second. I thought something was about to happen right there. But they turned the music back on. They hit the pyro and everything. So Kenny Omega is now the new international champion. So I definitely enjoyed the match. I thought it was great. So really great match from there. Moving on from that, this is going to be a lot to say right here. A cage match between Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. So, I've called Kyle Fletcher the new Randy Orton half the time because he just kind of comes out looking like him. Maybe it's the shaved head, but I kept calling him the new Orton. And I thought Ospreay was about to have new music because he had all this EDM type of sound music going on, saying, oh, another level. You may have thought Def Rebel may have created this music. It was God, please don't let that happen. And then they just did this whole EDM stuff just to go back into Ospreay's regular music then. Listen, this is a cage match, right? And at first, given what we've seen in this feud between both of these two, you got to end it off on something big. And this was insane, okay? So it's a cage match. And, they're going back and forth at it. And I know once again, it's another bloody mess right here. It's another bloody match because, Fletcher ended up throwing Ospreay face first into the cage. Ospreay's bleeding then after that. And stuff. So, Fletcher's just beating the hell out of Ospreay then, just making him bleed. And you just see the Crimson Mask and whatnot just bleeding heavily and stuff. But Ospreay ended up kind of coming back, throwing him into the cage wall and even backdropping him. So Ospreay is just doing as much as he can to fight his way back. Ospreay hit him like a boot, then hit him with the suplex, which the blood is just still coming from Ospreay's head like crazy. But he kept throwing Fletcher into like the cage multiple times until he started bleeding in after that. And I'm just looking at this match as it keeps going. And at one point, and I'm trying to remember as much as I can throughout all of this, because I know Fletcher ended up hitting Ospreay with like a big power bomb and everything. And still trying to get the near fall, still didn't work. But this is where I feel like a lot of this crazy stuff now comes into the match, because Mark Davis comes out, right? He gets involved in the match, and he's got like bolt cutters to try and get in the match then, but Ospreay ended up knocking him down to the outside, kicking the cage, and he fell to the floor with it. And then Ospreay's got like a barbed wire baseball bat then, and he took it out of the bag. It was like a bag of weapons Mark Davis brought out with. And Ospreay just kept hitting Fletcher with like, gut shots with the bat and everything. And then when he had the barbed wire bat and just, using it on Fletcher's head then, just, scratching it. And then he had like bang bang then like Mick Foley. And, Fletcher's begging. He hits like pulls up the United Empire symbol and everything. But Ospreay ended up flipping him off. And then he ended up getting hit in the nuts then with a nut shot. And then Fletcher, he just wiped the blood off on the armband, tried to stick it in sticking Ospreay's mouth after that, and then Ospreay ended up hitting Blade, and then Mark Davis gets back involved again because he ended up hitting the Stormbreaker right after, but Ospreay's able to take both of them out. By the way, Davis is bleeding heavily out there too, and Ospreay, he takes both of them out, and then this dude gets near to like the top half of the cage, by the way, hits a Os Cutter. It's still a kick out, which I'm kind of looking like, okay, this is where the egregious kick outs and guys just doing spots for the hell of it. Because then they end up climbing the cage then at one point. And then Fletcher's got a screwdriver, which he stabs Ospreay in the head, which, there's no marks or anything. But he, like, stabbed him with the screwdriver, and he licked the screwdriver then. And, trying to go back after Ospreay. And here's another thing where it gets even more egregious. They got a chair in the ring, right? Fletcher hits a freaking brainbuster on the Ospreay on the chair, and he's still kicked out. And I'm just kind of sitting there like, what the fuck we got going on? And then we got thumbtacks. We got to have thumbtacks. And I'm sitting here looking at this match like, is this a cage match or a street fight? Are you trying to do what we just saw like 2-3 matches ago between Toni Storm and Mariah May? Because that's what it was really starting to look like out here. Except this was a way longer match than what we saw earlier in the night. Because what is the really... It's kind of similar when you really look at it. It's like, hey, can we outdo the other hardcore match that was like early? It's like, hey, we had one Australian and a British person, an hour or two ago. Now we got another British person in an Australian match. That's somewhat kind of similar to what we saw earlier. So they got thumbtacks in the ring. Ospreay hits a Styles Clash, which once again, it's still a kick out. It's still a kick out. And then he's got the screwdriver in, and they're at the top of the cage, and Ospreay hit him with the screwdriver, and this dude hits a freaking Spanish fly, which you could see Ospreay damn near just land on his side, by the way, which looked brutal. But they were back up in seconds. They didn't even sell the move. They didn't even really sell it. Like, they just did a Spanish fly and got up like it was nothing. Yeah, fans chanting, holy shit, but they literally got up like seconds later. And then Fletcher's is on his knees saying, I hate you, Ospreay. Fuck you, you a son of a bitch and everything. And then Ospreay just hits the hidden blade on him, hit the Tiger Driver, and finally wins the match of almost 30 minutes. So, listen, man, I get what the story was going for here, but they got way too egregious. This went really long right here. Yeah, you could say this was an insane cage match for what it was, yes. But the fact that these guys are hitting Os Cutters off like halfway through the cage, brain busters on the top of chairs, screwdriver shots to the head, landing on thumbtacks with a Styles Clash on the thumbtacks, and even, a Spanish fly out the top rope, and it's still not over? It's still not over? It's like, how do you gonna even outdo this match? This is one thing I can say about this show. It felt like everybody was trying to outdo everybody. Like, man, which match can be bigger than the last one? Because that's what it looked like everybody was trying to do. Out top everybody. Because it made me wonder, well, damn, what do you really got for the main event? As bad as the main event build has been going on, what else you got? So, yeah, you could sit here and say it may have been a fire match for this cage match, but by God, these guys hit everything other than the kitchen sink at each other. And it was going and going and going and didn't look like it wasn't going to end. So it's like nobody really sold half the time in this match. So it was just another one of these matches where it was just insane, egregious kickouts. It was just getting ridiculous to me after a while. Ospreay, I'm not surprised on winning, which, by the way, the Don Callis family went like, what, 0-3 throughout the night? So yeah, these guys have taken enough L's, and honestly, I think the heels really took a lot of L's tonight on this show. Like, most of all, the heels really lost on this show until we kind of get to the main event. But we are about to move to the main event. You know, one thing I do want to say is this before we actually get there. And listen, I know they've been promoting the Queen of the Ring movie that's out right now. And I know AEW's had a very heavily involvement in it. Because I know it's a lot of wrestlers that are in that movie. I know Tony Storm is in it. I know Camille is in it. I know Jim Cornette is in it. I know Naomi's in this movie. But, you know, at one point they interviewed, like, some of the stars and the director of the movie, and one of them, I guess they wanted to, what did they learn from pro wrestling? And I don't know who this was, but she said that the one thing she learned about pro wrestling is that y'all know you're going to win before everybody else does. So thank you for teaching me that. Like, wow, talk about exposing the business right there. I don't know if somebody should have smartened her up not to say that, because you couldn't, come on, AEW didn't know she was going to say that. And I said this myself, like, I don't know who told her to say that, but somebody really should have smartened her up not to really say that. I just sat there like, man, talk about exposing the business. I know it's exposed as it is already, but man, let's just tell the whole audience, like, how can you tell wrestling is any more faker by saying that? Just break kayfabe right there. So I just kind of rolled my eyes when I heard her say that. Like, dude, why did you say this? I know you're in this movie, so you're only going to know so much, but the fact that you kind of said this out loud, somebody should have smartened her up. They really should have. So we get to the main event. Jon Moxley and Adam Copeland. Edge. I'm not going to say Cope because Cope still sounds stupid, so I'm just going to keep saying Edge. And Jim Ross is back on commentary for this. By the way, Edge did his whole entrance, which at least it was nice to see him have pyro in his entrance again, given this was a bigger stage this time and a bigger crowd. And obviously the fans sang along to Edge's theme song. Listen, they could not top this. Well, then again, they couldn't really top a lot of stuff throughout this show tonight, because what did they have really to do in the end? This was the main event, right? Because, listen, this feud has been bad. This feud has sucked. The Death Rider stuff has been horrible. It really has. I like Edge, but this stuff has been bad with him too. So, in my mind, looking in this match, I'm figuring two things. Edge is going to win the title right here, or Christian is going to come out and cash in the whole Money in the Bank contract thing. And we'll get to that soon. So, I'm looking at this match, and a lot of people wondering, was there really even a lot of heat to this match? Or even reaction, because the crowd was kind of quiet throughout all of this. And I'm not really going to try to go through move after move in this match. I'm not. I know they even had Samoa Joe and them watching up at some point. Edge did hit a spear to the outside of the ring, which looked pretty cool, I'll say that. And I know even to the outside when they got to the ring, Moxley's rolling up the barricade to the ground and everything. And, you know, just lifting it up, even hitting Edge onto the ground then. Which, you know, to get him back into the ring, because he, like, throw him into the steps and stuff. So Moxley was already trying to get in control and even yelling at Jim Ross half the time. Doing the whole bulldog choke thing too. But Edge was able to, like, break the hold then. And, you know, Mox and the ref kept arguing, which, you know, at least this referee was not scared of Mox this time. He says, like, you're going to do what I say. And Mox just pie-facing the referee. And they just kept arguing with each other then. Because Moxley tried to bring back a chair in, but the ref took it from him. And then Edge ended up rolling him up. Rolling up Moxley, but ended up, like, kicking the referee in. So, like they knocked the referee into the rope, so the ref goes down onto the ground, and so the ref is now dead. Moxley hits, like, the Death Rider on him, and was setting up for the concerto, but Edge ended up kicking out, like, kicking the chair at Moxley to the ground. Then they send Wheeler Yuta out, which Yuta's just everywhere on this show or anywhere the Death Riders. Like, they try to make him like he's like a thing, like a big thing right now. And he does the whole look at Edge, look at Moxley. Oh, who am I going to take? Side I'm going to take, huh? Who will I take out first? And he obviously hits the damn running knee in the Edge. Like, come on, we all knew that was going to happen. And then, Jay White comes out for the save then. And Jay White, he's trying to help Edge after that. He's taking out Yuta. He gets the briefcase then, which once again, we still don't see the World Heavyweight title, by the way. Takes out Moxley, but Mox ducked and he ended up hitting Edge with it. Yuta and Edge end up brawling to the outside. Yuta and Jay White end up just brawling to the outside of the ring then, all the way into the back, so they're gone. And then, Moxley, he covered Edge, but it was still like a slow count, didn't work. Edge hit a spear onto Mox after that, and then he hit 2 more spears on him, which we thought was going to be over then after the 3rd spear. But then next thing you know, when Edge hit the spear, someone pulled Moxley's leg from under the ring, and it was Christian in a hoodie, and he ended up finally signing in his contract then, or the Money in the Bank, or whatever this contract thing they've made up, which is basically Money in the Bank at this point. And Christian signed it, so now it's a triple threat match now. And then Christian, he hit Edge with a spear, hit the kill switch on him, pins him. Moxley comes in, hits the bulldog choke, and Christian, putting his hand over Edge, thinking he could still pin him and everything. But Moxley ended up just pulling Christian away until Christian just ended up getting choked out. Let me say this. First off, this wasn't even a good main event. Let's get that off the bat. But the fact that you just did this whole... listen... And it's the first time they even done this thing. It's basically copying Money in the Bank. Let's get that out the way first. But the fact that you just wasted Christian like this made no freaking sense. Now, this probably would have been a way to take the world title off Moxley here because they didn't pin Edge. So Edge was protected here. Edge didn't even lose to Moxley. He was protected by having Christian just take the fall then by making this a triple threat match. But you wasted months out of having this damn briefcase, contract, Money in the Bank, whatever this thing is, just for Moxley to retain the title. So I was like, and Christian just got taken out easily, I see. He got hit with one move. Didn't tap, yeah, he passed out, but at least it would have been more unique if he pinned Edge while being in the bulldog choke. At least we wouldn't have to do this Death Rider stuff anymore. So Moxley wins, takes the briefcase with him, and then Prince Nana just starts kind of arguing with him. And then all these security guards show up then. And then Swerve just jumps off the top of the balcony doing a damn Swerve stomp on him as the fans chanted Swerve's house and sang, and, did the dance as the show went off the air. So obviously going to be Swerve versus Moxley next for the title. I don't know if Swerve's actually going to win, especially with this Death Rider stuff that's been going on for so long. I don't know if he will, so expect a whole bunch of shenanigans right here. But this main event, like I said, the build going into this match was already bad enough. No, I'm surprised nobody didn't bleed in this match, but we've seen so many people bleed throughout the night. What would have been the point of even bleeding? What more spectacular they could do in this main event? So I just thought the whole finish was ridiculous, though. I really did. Like, I expected Yuta and Jay White to come out, even Christian, but the fact that they just wasted this Money in the Bank-like contract thing just to do this, I thought it was ridiculous. Yeah, they protected Edge at the end of the day, but they kind of made Christian like a freaking idiot out here. They really did. So, like I said, at least you're getting Swerve versus Moxley next, but I wouldn't have minded if they had Christian have the world title right here. I really wouldn't have minded it. So, I know he's been walking around with that contract for months waiting for his time to strike, but wow, what a freaking waste. So, this main event wasn't just even good in general, okay? It really wasn't. And like I said, the crowd, we seen the crowd loud throughout the whole night of all the insane stuff they've seen. What more could they have really done to top this? And listen, I know this is another one of these marathon shows when it comes to AEW, because, like, if you count the pre-show today, I'm like, 14, 13 matches? So, if you sat there throughout the long of this show, then, hey, God bless you. But I will say this. I actually thought the pay-per-view was really good. I actually thought it was great. And I actually thought it was a lot of great matches that, probably ended some storylines right here, which or at least maybe enhanced it a little. Even the matches that didn't have a lot of build still had some pretty good matches on here, okay? Like, I enjoyed Takeshita and Omega. I enjoyed Swerve and Ricochet. I actually liked the opener, too, of this whole show. The cage match, as crazy as it was in that cage match, it was just getting ridiculous after a while that, like, dude, nobody just doesn't even sell like that. The Hollywood ending match, you're either going to like it or you're not going to like it, but I will say it was brutal. I didn't really need to see Okada and Brody King. That could have probably been on Dynamite. Even the Hurt Syndicate and the Outrunners could have been on Dynamite or Collision, because that it just wasn't really much to say about both of those two matches on here. So I enjoyed the pay-per-view overall. The main event was whatever, and I thought it was a bad finish. I really did. I thought the finish was ridiculous, and it was just damn near stupid. But hey, they protected Edge. They didn't want him taking the fall all the way, so Christian ended up taking the fall then. But at the same time, you waste Christian and his whole contract, Money in the Bank, get a title shot thing to the, like, what was the point? What was the freaking point? So yeah, we'll see Swerve and Moxley coming up soon, probably at the next pay-per-view, which I believe is Dynasty, but I don't know. I feel like it could have been a better way of doing this, but like I say, it's a marathon show, but at least I can say it was a lot of great matches throughout the entire night. But it's still gonna get some of that ridiculous stuff at the same time when it comes to AEW. But like I said, they literally had a sold out. I don't know if this building was sold out tonight, but it was bigger than what I've seen in a while when it comes to AEW. So I think maybe since the Grand Slam in Australia and all that. So there you go. But other than that, that's my review for AEW Revolution. Comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Tell me what you even think about this show. Did you like it? Did you hate it? I thought it was great overall. I guess from a match quality standpoint, some stories and whatnot. But when we kind of get towards the end, that's where the ridiculousness started getting into this show. Yeah, you had your little bit maybe of a down period here and a little bit of ridiculous stuff, but a lot of it was very small. The crowd was really over throughout most of the show tonight with a lot of these matches, and they were on fire. So LA was popping out there tonight. And I'm just talking about the main card, not really going to the pre-show itself. Just talking about the main card, really. But like I said, really face-heavy show. Most of the heels lost other than probably the main event. So we'll see what happens next coming up on Dynamite. But yeah, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at HoodieNight890. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.